Yo guys, hello Coach KB here. So we do actually some positives, two important positives. So there will be a League of Legends 15-year anniversary from 28th October, where we're gonna receive bunch of blue essence, mystery icon, orange essence, mythic essence, mystery emote, the severe skin, and the icon and the border and whatnot. Now the important thing that we are here for is that teams will no longer have different amounts of out-of-field players. So it means that you, like for example, if one team has one out-of-field, the other team is also forced to have one out-of-field or none, right? Because it can happen that in your team there is only one out-of-field and they have three out-of-fields. So you can have three out-of-fields in your team and they can have zero, which did actually happen to me in some games where I had, for example, two. They had zero out-of-fields. Now, normally, obviously, everyone has two roles that they have to pick for ranked. So I would say somewhat you got to know how to play your second role as well. But quite a lot of people are just generally speaking mastering out one lane with fewer champions, especially the higher and higher you go, the more you gotta mainly shrink your champ pool, sort of master out a lane as much as possible because you mainly know the top matchups. If you play on top lane, obviously less so much on mid lane if that's your secondary role as an example. So this will actually help a lot. Autofill will still exist, so you still can get filled now and then, but at least it will not feel like you're in some type of loser squee, because this is kind of a loser squee, because I do believe loser squee exists, but not for a direct reason. So I don't know if it systematically exists, but indirectly it can exist because of the random autofills that you can have in your team. Or B scenario, obviously, like people not willing to play the game, flame, distracting each other, starting to end because their ego got triggered, which doesn't obviously happens at the beginning of the game that they start inting, just intentionally by the system. Just eventually something gets in people's head and they start inting. So I think indirectly there could be somewhat of a loser squee that exists, and so this will help a lot, because quite a lot of times, if you guys notice, so when someone gets out of field, well, first of all, they blame the situation that they get out of field and they start to get frustrated, right? Because they don't like that they are filled in a role. Okay, that can happen. Now they're gonna likely int as well, or not play super well because they don't know how to properly play that certain role. Sometimes they never even touch that specific role that they got out of field into, and because they don't know how to play that role, often what's gonna happen is that people start non-stop chatting. Why is my ADC field, or my ADC can't really compete with the enemy ADC because mine is field, or sometimes even the individual that's out of field will be kind of hateful because he got field. He's not able to properly compete against their opponents. Their confidence level does shrink to the point where they're gonna quite often flame others, or perhaps themselves in some way. And I feel like just removing this feature, the fact that they removed the different amounts of auto-field players, at least that helps, even if they don't remove the whole thing. Because at least number wise there will not be that many possibly frustrated player in your team, because if your team, let's say one or two of them are frustrated to play, the same thing will apply to the enemy team, so it somewhat does even out, makes the game more fair. So I think this is a very, very huge quality of life, or I don't even know if I can call it quality of life, but it does make the game feel more fair. Fuck, I almost said weird. It does make the game feel way more fair, and I would just say I would just not add anything to it. Guys, that's it for now. Have a nice day, y'all.